Okay, so another episode of the photography live show. Let's just make sure we are good to go live and we can get straight into today's topic. And it looks good. Hello and welcome to the photography live show. Today we're looking at what photography camera should I buy. So photography cameras, they are tricky. There's loads out there, but today in the photography live show, we're going to give you some options. So make sure to check out the links in the description. I'm going to be giving you links to different camera options. What the plan is today, I've compiled some clips together to show you what you can get for different price ranges. So you might be getting into photography, you might be established in photography, you might have a higher budget. We're looking from between £100 all the way up to £800. So at each £100 increment, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 example cameras you can buy. But I think the main thing we want to look at is what types of cameras are available and which ones are better than others. So I've made a few extra things to help you out. To support this video, I've got a link in the description to my mailing list. Make sure to sign up to that and you'll get an instant email with help sheets, guides and frequently asked questions which will help you get through this journey. So that's a bit of an extra bonus there. It's going to be loads of information there, so make sure you sign up to that. Let's have a quick look at the types of cameras that are available. I did a quick Google search to see what is actually out there. So I know some people that are really getting into photography as a starter, you might not know what a DSLR is. You might not know what a bridge camera is or a point and shoot camera. They're all basically different types of cameras. Just look at it like that. But I'll keep this on very basic. You can see there's different setups here. Some are slightly bigger, some are slightly smaller. If I show you Google images of some of these examples, some are bulky, some are not, some are nice and small that fit in your pocket, some are easier to carry. So there's a few things we can look at there. But what we will do is I'll give you some options to cover these off. So the first one that we're going to look at is going to be £100. Could you buy a digital camera, like a good one, for £100? Well, I found a lot of examples and I think you can. I'll take you through these and show you loads of examples. Make sure to say hello if you're in chat and you're joining us. It's always great to have people on and say hello throughout the show. And I'll answer questions live. So let's go on to the first segment of £100. That actually isn't a bad selection, you know. So, okay, that's 3 options for you. So if you've got a budget of under 100, whatever currency you're in, look at a Canon EOS 1000D, look at a Nikon D90, and actually look at a FinePix bridge camera, Fujifilm S4200. Let me quickly find you a lens for the Canon 1000D, because the one we looked at, it's £70 more or less. So could I pick up a lens for £30? Let's have a look. Canon lens EFS. Let's see what pops up. Just a live search. Okay, there you go, 28 to 80. So for that, actually that's probably a very good suggestion. Buy it now. 28 to 80 EF lens, Canon. That is going to get you started. Let me open that up and let's have a look if we've got another buy it now. I normally select it to be buy it now. And let's do price low to high. I'm sure there'll be a few more options there. Okay, £27, 50 pence. Another one, probably a 58, 30 pounds. Bang on. Okay, yeah. So you've definitely got options there. So that Canon lens there, £34.95. Let's have a look at the cheaper one. That's not a buy it now. Okay, where's the one that I saw, the cheaper one? Let's see quickly that, because I can show you that package. Okay, £27, 50 pence. Older lens. However, it will get you shooting photos. You can even make an offer on it. Perfect working order. Minus cosmetic scratches to body. Glass is perfect. Beautiful. You can't see that properly there. So that 1000D at £100, you'll get a camera and you'll get a lens. Whereas the Nikon is just £100 for the body. But remember, the Nikon gives you 720p video. So now we can compare those 3 cameras. So D60 released in 2008. It's 10 megapixels. It's good ISO, respectable ISO performance. Does it have video? I know we're looking at photography, but video is a nice to have. No, it does not have video. So for photography, D60 would be a good option. But if you want that option there for video, it might not be the best. So let's have a look at that example. So the 1300D at £170, the body only, is a 2016 body. So it's a newer body. So that's a contender. We'll look at a lens for you, so we can still make it under 200 with a starter lens. The Sony Alpha, we're getting rid of that one because it doesn't offer video and it is a slightly older camera, so it will struggle. The D60 didn't have video. So as a photography camera, that is a good call. At £170, you'll have some change left over to buy a memory card and some extra batteries. Because ideally, we want you shooting with the full gear at that price range. You don't have to buy extras. Or you might be able to get a tripod, a cheap tripod for 20-30 quid, which will round you off to 200. You can decide. The other one is a Canon 500D. The reason I mentioned this camera is £107. So we've got over £83 to play with for a lens. Because remember, lenses are very important. So you can either go for under 200. You can go to a Canon EOS 1300D and spend a bit of money on a lens. Or you can go on an older body at 500D and pick up a lens to make that a nice bundle. Let's have a look at some lenses for that Canon body. So I would suggest, let's try the 50 1.8. That's probably going to be about 60-ish pounds. Yeah, I haven't put Canon in there. Canon 50mm 1.8. Okay, that £42 for the young Neo. You might as well get the Canon. Let's have a look. Slightly higher, £62 Canon. Okay, there. So that's a good option. If you want a zoom lens, you can also go for the kit zoom lens for these, which is a 18 to 35, I think. Canon 55. Let's see how much that one is. Let's do a quick buy it now. We don't want to mess about with auctions because I want to give you a price as it stands today. And let's do price lowest to highest, and we'll have a quick look at the results. We want a newer model because these are the early models which are cheaper. Oh, there we go. That's a beautiful one there. Okay, so here's the option. You get a Canon 1300D, £170. You could pick up a cheap 18 to 55, the first version, for about £30, which is similar to my last suggestion, but that was a 1000D camera. So that would give you a nice bundle for £200. However, if you're willing to go to an older camera, which was my first camera actually, the 500D, at £107, and then spend £44 on this zoom lens, you'll have a beautiful starting setup. You can't see that screen full. Let's bring that over there. There you go. So that is 18 to 55. Take loads of photos, see how you find the photos, decide which lens you want next. So now let's look at the 700D, £249. That was our second option, because remember, it gives us 1080p video at 30 frames a second, and it's a relatively new camera. Now we just got to pick up a lens for it. So I would pick up the kit lens. So let's do Canon 1855, and look at that. You can already see some of the earlier lenses. These are not the latest lenses. They're not the version 2, they're the earlier ones. But I'd be happy to pay £44 for a kit lens right there. That camera we're getting rid of, the Nikon, because that will end up costing us over our budget. The 700D, £249, and a £44 lens. That would give you a nice starter package. Let's have a look at that description of that camera, just so you... Okay, I'll read it in my nice voice. Canon EOS 700D 18 megapixel digital SLR camera body with grip. So you can actually put extra batteries in the grip, which gives you longer battery life. So that's an extra benefit. The camera is in very good condition and comes with the battery, charger and strap. The shutter count is low at 5,771 shots. It takes awesome photos and HD video. Yes, I agree with you. That is a good option, and we did quite well to pick that up for £249 with a separate lens for £44, bringing us within our £300 budget. 6 frames per second is the mirrorless Fujifilm. So that looks like a nice option at the moment. What about video? I wonder. Okay, 29.97, so 30 frames a second for the 60D. Ooh, the Nikon D5300 does 60 frames a second at 1080p. So does a Nikon D3500. And the Fujifilm does not give me any resolutions here, but it does do 60 frames a second in 1920 by 1080. And okay, let's have a quick glance over the other specs, because the main thing I want to keep you here for is progression as well. So these are good cameras, but let's have a look at what you're getting. So the Canon 60D is a DSLR bundle. So you're getting a bag, you're getting a flash, you're getting a camera, basically everything you need. And that is £400. Buy it now. In our comparison, that didn't fare too badly, to be honest. And I shoot Canon, so I'm leaning towards that at the moment. However, we have to be unbiased. What's the word? Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so Canon EOS 60D DSLR camera with a 18-55 zoom lens and a speedlight flash. Condition is used but excellent. So mainly your lens will determine how good your photos are. If you've got a flash and you can use flash, you're adding more light to the situation, which will make your photos better if you use it in the right way. I made a whole series about flash photography, so check that out. Okay, that's that one. The 5300 DSLR kit with lens, that is a £390 camera, Nikon 5300. Was that the newer one that we saw? 5300. No, it wasn't the newer one, was it? It's the slightly older one. Let's have a look. 2018 at 13, still 3 years newer than the Canon, so you're still doing okay. And that one was a 24 megapixel sensor. It's got video as well. If I recall, it had 30 frames a second at 1080p, was it? Let's have a quick look. 5 frames a second, and no, 60 frames a second. Okay, so right now the Nikon looks like a better bet there for you guys if you've got the budget of under 400. And it actually comes with 2 lenses, not just the one. Comes in the box, good condition. It's got a flippy out screen. So if you're doing vlogging or if you want to record videos for YouTube, a zoom lens. Oh, mate. And a good shutter count as well. Shutter count is basically how many times it's taken a photo. That would be a very good option for you. If you've got a budget, by the time this video goes out, it might have been sold, but keep an eye out for that model of camera. That is a good option. Let's have a look at his blurb. Oh, we've read that already, haven't we? Nikon D5300 DSLR camera kit with AFS 18-55mm. So basically a smaller focal length zoom and a bigger focal length. So you've got a big distance. Very good used condition. Shutter count low. Comes with box with both lens caps and covers 2 batteries, 1 charger, 1 shoulder strap, and 1 lens hood. So basically you've got 2 batteries as well. So you've got everything you need. You might just need a memory card. And you could pick up a memory card for £10. So that would bring you right up to £400. Of course, currencies will determine that. So you may need to buy additional gear. So what you could do is if you've got 400, what I'd say, let's go. Okay. So right now, let's round that up. Let's have a look at the Fuji X-T100. That looks like a very nice camera. £379. That is a sweet camera, to be honest. Let's have a look at the blurb. Okay, mirrorless DSLR, dark, good condition, camera, lens, battery, and charger. How did that perform in our 6 frames a second? That is it depends now what direction you want to take this. So based on our options there for under 400, you've got the Nikon D5300, bigger DSLR. You've got the Fujifilm X-T100, smaller, compact, mirrorless camera. If you want it to be a smaller size, you want to carry it around with you on holiday, that's where you weigh up what you want to do with it and what the photography camera is for. But I said under 400. What I'd suggest is I made a video for under 300. Have a look at that video. Buy that camera and leave 100 for accessories. Because when you get a tripod, you get memory cards, you might need extra batteries, you might need a bag. All those things add up. So actually this can be adjusted. So look at the lower range one and see what you can do. This one would probably be 500 by the time you got all your kit. So those are some cameras. Let me show you the pricing of those. So out of those right now, I'm leaning towards the D3500. but let's see if that price tallies up with that. So the 5D Mark III we were looking at doesn't come with a lens, so we're gonna take that off. I might put that in my upper tier budget of 600. So check the other video for 600, what you can get for a little bit more money. Okay, so back here we have got the D3500, which was with a kit lens. Let's have a look at that one. We've got the 4000D. Let's have a look at that one. And what else did I bring up? 750D would be a good option as well, actually. That's with the lens. You know what? I'm gonna bring that up. And D3500 again. Okay, so let's look at that. D3500, £409 with a kit lens. You've got 91 pounds left there to play about with. What kind of condition? Let's have a look. Is there any information? Okay, so with the kit lens, black condition, yeah, so it's a standard. There's nothing fancy about that one, but that's a good place to get started. Lower tier of the 500 budget, because you'll have accessories and bags and extra camera batteries. You could pick up a 50mm lens even. So that's one option. The 4000D newer camera comes with two lenses. Okay, so it's a lower spec camera, but you're getting two lenses with it. So sometimes it's worth picking up a lower spec body to give you the option of more lenses, because then you can decide which direction you want to go with it. So that might be handy. So 4000D, 3 frames a second, and it was what, 18 megapixels or 24 was it? Let's have a quick look. 18 megapixels for quality, but that's still sufficient. Newer camera, it was released in what, 2018? Yeah, versus the other two, which were 13 and 12. So that's not a bad start. 4000D, yeah, that's a good option there. And the 750D, you know what, I would get the 750D because it has an articulating screen. It's better than the 1000 series cameras like the 4000D, the 1300D, those kind of cameras, because I've got the 550D and that's coped very well. And these are like built like tanks, most of these cameras. It's got Wi-Fi camera. Yeah, 750D, buy that basically. £499. That is your camera to buy if you've got a budget of £500. That's what I would get. I shoot Canon. Apart from that, 3500 is £449, and that is also a strong camera, good contender. But that 3500 was 2018, so it's a good contender to the 4000D. And what did we see on that? It gave us everything we wanted. So yeah, it depends on what you're shooting and what camera you want. Again, these cameras depend on what you're shooting already. So if you're already shooting Canon, you're probably going to buy the Canon. If you're already shooting Nikon, you might buy the Nikon. If you're fresh to the game, pick one. It's not really much difference in those cameras. Similar years, and the makes have similar specs. 17 it was made in. It's a mid-size SLR camera with 24 megapixels. It's a Digic 7 processor. So the Digic processors is basically how well it handles things like autofocus, high ISO performance. I did a video about what Digic processors are, so I might link it, but that's your overview of it. It's how well it handles the photo when it's taken or after it's taken in the camera. It takes raw photos, yes, great. It's a 1.6 screen, fully articulating screen, and I'm hoping we get 1080p at, yay, 60 frames a second. So the difference there for those interested, 750D didn't have 60 frames a second in 1080p, but the 800D does. So that's where your slight difference in model variations come in. And what else? I'm sure it's got something like a Wi-Fi or something built in. Wireless built in, yeah. So that depends how you use your camera. I normally take the memory card out and put it in my computer, but you might not do that. You might do it a different way, where you convert it on Wi-Fi through to your phone if you use your phone solely for that purpose. So that's a good option. I'm going to keep that on the list as a contender. Let's get rid of the other ones. 750 we're getting rid of. We're keeping the 800D on that list. So if you've got between that price range, that's a good camera to think about. Let's have a look at Nikon. So Nikon 5600, 2016, slightly older camera. Let's bring that up so you can see or hear me explain it to you. So 5600, saying great price on eBay, so that makes me think it's priced well. £579, so you've got some change to pick up a memory card as well. Fully articulating screen. That's comparable to the 800D, I would say. We'll check the specs and I'll let you know if it actually is or not. So what else do we get? Oh, okay, so from Curry's PC World, so it's actually going to be like a X display possibly or something like that. So let's go to the side-by-side comparison. That one versus is a slightly older camera, but again it has the similar megapixels. It has fully articulating screen. Does it have, it's got pop-up flash, which is an extra little benefit. Not a great thing to use, but it's good. It's slightly lower frames per second than the 800D. So if you're doing continuous shooting, in 1 second you'll get 5 pictures, whereas the 800D would give you 6. It does 1080p at 60 frames a second. So good option, but it's slightly cheaper as well. So think about that. And then we've got the SL3, which is going to be the 250D. This one here, which is £579. These are getting quite good feedback online. So the smaller bodied cameras, it actually will offer you 4K recording as well, probably at 24 frames a second, I think. Let's have a look. Side-by-side comparison, SL3. What sensor is it? It's going to be a newer camera, so let's check. It's been 2019, a lot newer. That is a very good price then. To get it at £600, UK anyway. Wait, did I even open it up? I did. Well, not even 600, £579. Does it come with a lens? It does come with a lens. Great option there. So we've got a nice selection of cameras there that you could look at. 3 options I would suggest is the 800D, the Nikon D5600, which is slightly cheaper, so you got a bit of change for memory cards, and also the EOS SL3, known as a 250D. So any one of those 3 cameras would be good. If I was going to pick, I would probably blow EOS SL3, the 250D. It's a newer camera, and let me check, it has 4K recording at 24 frames a second, as well as 1080p 60 frames a second. So that's the camera I would buy. Cameras that we like, I like the SL3, 2019, the Lumix G90. That is a good camera actually. Body only. See, we don't want body only, guys. Well, I'll give you an option. 24 megapixels. It's going to be a better camera because we're basically paying that full amount for just the body, whereas the other camera we're getting a lens too. So fully articulating screen. What sort of video capabilities will there be? 5 frames a second. 4K 24 frames a second is SLK. Oh, I've got rid of the camera. Is it over here? There it is. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, that 20 megapixels, mirrorless, fully articulating screen. What else do we have? Good ISO performance, mirrorless body, 30 frames a second, 4K, 25 frames a second. Okay, so but even then with the Lumix, I'll get the SL3, the 250D Canon. I might be biased because I've always shot Canon, but that looks like a good deal. XT20, 8 frames a second. So if you're doing continuous shooting of wildlife or sports, you'll get 8 pictures per second, whereas the others are 5, 7, but the D4 being a professional camera is 11 frames a second. So they use them more in sports and types of things. But the main thing here is going to be, you need to decide what is the camera for. Is it mainly photography? In which case the D4 might be a better suit for you because it only offers 1080p 30 frames a second, whereas the other ones that are tiered towards film and photos, you'll get things like 4K on them. So 30 frames a second on the XT20. The A7 only does 60 frames a second at 1080p. So the Sony is known to have good colors, and while everybody harps on about them online, but to be honest, if I was to get the first model A7, I wouldn't get it. I'll delete that out of there. I'd probably pick up a Canon 800D, which is actually does a lot better, or even a SL2 250D because it does 4K as well. But that's knocked out the list. What else do we have? Okay, between the ones that we have left over, which one? You know what? Fujifilm, I would. It's a nice setup, and the people that have Fujifilms are happy with them. So if I was looking at photography, I would look at a Fujifilm, especially the one I saw there. That was a good example of one there. They look nice. So definitely consider that if you have that budget. Sony, we got rid of the 70D. That is a good option actually. It's a DSLR though. Do you want a DSLR or do you want a smaller camera body and then be able to upgrade it as you go, which this one is like a full-on tank, isn't it? The D4 body only. Oh no, we can't include that then. Body only. Let's get rid of that one as well. Okay, so D4 is gone. So out of the 70D and the Fujifilm X-T20, which one would I get? I would get the X-T20. You know, let me have a quick look at a quick review of that and see what comes up first. Who comes up? Will we have? Okay, is there one major takeaway regarding the Fuji X-T20 is that its little camera is a pleasure to use, packing a punch of professional quality features into a very affordable package. It's equally perfect for the hobbyist or pro. It features a 24 megapixel sensor, improved AF system and tilting LCD. Okay, nice. And the other option we had was the D70. Let's see what the D70 is. Canon D70 review, a quick overview just to give you that decision. Is the Canon, let's see what that says. Since the Canon 70D was released in 2013, there is no 4K recording here, only 1080p at 30 frames a second. Luckily, the 1080p footage recording is of really high quality. Now, okay, Fujifilm is, if you have £800 or under, pick up the Fujifilm X-T20. That's what we're saying today. Hoping you find this useful. Check out the additional videos about other budgets. I'm doing £900 next, or 900. Add your currency. Let's see what we can pick up for 900. See you on that video. Hoping you find that useful. That was a quick segment of the clips. So all these videos have been individually made, which I'll link in the playlist, so you can actually get a deep dive into the budget you were interested in. Right now, this is an overview of all of the budgets. I'm hoping you find something useful in there. Again, check out the description for show notes, and we'll see you next week on the Photography Live Show.